Welcome back to regular viewers, and if you're a first timer, stick around. I love cooking hacks. It's the use of convenience and packaged foods to help in the cooking process. We all have busy lives. I also don't like the power-hungry things like an oven. I use the slow cooker, halogen, air fryer, induction hob and the microwave. Let's see what we can do with those. If you like what you see today, please subscribe. Feel free to share and comment. I can be followed on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. See you there. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I've decided I'm going to do spaghetti bolognese. Now I know to a lot of people spaghetti bolognese is preaching to the converted, but what I've found, so many people don't know how to make the perfect bolognese. And I've found the result, and it's to do with the moisture, how much moisture you've got in it. Anyway, so what we're going to start off is we're going to fry up. Now what I use is a large pan, wok shaped ideally, but it's got to be large. I'm going to put in there some lazy garlic, because hey, why chop garlic when it's already chopped for you? So I'm going to put about a teaspoon of that in with the oil. And I am a big fan of using frozen vegetables, purely because you can keep them in the fridge, there's long duration. Because they frozen almost immediately, you keep a lot of the goodness in there, you don't lose any of that. And you can use as much or as little as you need. The only problem with having frozen veg is there is a higher water content, so you need to get rid of that because it will just add a lot of moisture. So what I've got here, I've got about 100 grams of mushroom and 100 grams of onion. And I'll just chuck that in with the garlic. And you want to give that a stir till it's melted, that the mushrooms are soft, the onion has gone translucent. You will find, as I said, that there'll be a lot of high water content, so that will come through in a second. Now I like to put a lot of chorizo in my bolognese. It just adds another layer of flavour to the bolognese. And you know, you get those fats from the chorizo, which I really like. You can put bacon in it. I know a lot of people do. Again, because you've got the fattiness of the bacon, it adds flavour. You can see how the water, you can see the water and the oil separating now because of the frozenness of the veg, which you need to get rid of before you start cooking all the other stuff. Because you can chuck in the chorizo, but then you've got the chorizo oil coming out, and it takes a while to boil off all that liquid. Not that you want the chorizo oil to boil off, but you do want the water to go. Now what you could do is strain it now, once you know all that water there, but what you're going to be losing is all the flavours from the garlic that have started frying up, your oil that you've already put in there. So I would recommend you just let it boil dry, as it were. Get all that liquid out just by cooking it, letting it stew down, as it were. This takes, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. So what I might do is I might put some speed laps in now, so okay, so now you can see that water's boiled off, or steam, gone off. So there's just a little bit in there. So now the onions will start to go the translucent because it's got rid of all that water. We're going to chuck in the chorizo. I've got about 150 grams here, which I've sliced into just halves. So half.
And you want to get the oils starting to cook with this, so where you start to see a bit of the oil coming out. I want to drop more oil into this because it's I can smell the chorizo starting to cook now. And this chorizo just puts another layer of flavour into the bolognese, which just, it makes it so much better. It just takes it that extra level. There we go. That's a good start. Now, to this we're going to add 500 grams of mince beef. You can, use however much you want to, really. It doesn't really matter. It just, I suppose it depends on what quantity you bought it in. Now this, I'm just going to start to get the meat brown before I put in any sauce to it. Because this is a really quick, easy way of doing the bolognese. A bolognese, the meat, you can cook it up to a day in advance. So if you know that you're going to be needing it tomorrow night, cook it the day before, or it will keep quite happily till tomorrow. And it does help the flavours intensify, so it will taste better the day later. It's a bit like pizza. Cold pizza from the day after, when you've had it in the fridge, it always tastes better, I think. Right. This is really simple, but and I know, as I say, it's like preaching to the converted of people, why are you making spaghetti bolognese? But every time people have made it for me, there's been too much liquid in it, and and it's like soup at the bottom of the bolognese because they haven't left it long enough. What you want is for all the moisture, the liquid, to evaporate out, so that the flavour of all the tomato sauce and everything else will coat the meat, not wash it out. So you want it to coat, not to be in soup, oops, but there is a fine line between coated and dry. So, right, so now we see that's nicely cooking away. Good colour. And now we go with the cooking hack, which is I like the Lidl's deluxe tomato sauce, but you can use anything. I find Lloyd Grossman ones are actually very good as well. The smallest jar for 2 people is plenty. Shove that whole thing in, because it's a tomato-based sauce. You use this as a base for everything. Give this a good mix. And you see there's still a lot of liquid in this. You'll see what I mean when I say coated, because it won't take long, because there's not a lot of liquid in this tomato. But okay. You see, it's quite sloppy at this, and this is what I mean when there's too much liquid. See, like lots of liquid? That needs to go, because that needs to coat the meat. Now what you do is you just let this simmer. Yeah. Okay. Stirring it every 5 or 6, 7 minutes. Let it simmer and reduce down some of that liquid. What I'll do is I'll pause the filming now and come back to it when it's almost ready. So see you guys shortly. So now we've reduced down. The rule of thumb here is if you can stroke back your water and you see liquid there, it's not quite done. So I'm going to whack this up a bit high because I need to do this. I need to reduce some of this quite quickly now. But you see this how different it was in terms of liquid. Now remember, there is a fine line between coated and dry, and it's coming up, it's not far off now. What you want is to be able to push that meat back and not have any liquid sort of coming out like it is now. So you want it to be more like this meat, which is all coated. And a minute or so, and this will be perfect. I mean, you could serve it now. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a bit of liquid in there, but for me, the perfect one is when there's that liquid is all gone, and you have all the taste of the sauce, the tomato, all the herbs and everything else, all over the meat. A good use. I mean, I always make a lot of this. Even if there's just 2 of us, I will do enough for 4 people, because any leftover meat, chuck it in the fridge. And tomorrow or the next day, use it to make a lasagna. If you look up my other videos, there's, how to make a lasagna, which is there as well. Have a look. It's almost ready now. As I say, there is a fine line, so you've got to be on the ball when it comes to stopping it. Don't leave it and just expect it to be perfect. It's about 20 minutes of simmering will get it down to no liquid. I'm hoping the steam is not judging the camera up. Grab some plates. Right, it's done now. Okay, turn it off. So, what you can see, folks, is there's no liquid really coming through. It's all nicely coated, so it's still moist, but it's not dry. So there we go, the perfect bolognese. Now, let's get the pasta. Right, and take it off the heat because you don't want it overcooking while it's been on the hot plate. I like a lot of parmesan. I don't know if you guys do. If you do, you do. And then a good dabbing of salt and pepper. I like my pit, but also and there we go. And see, folks, perfect bolognese. So, taste test. See what? Because the it's moist. It's still got moisture in it. It goes through the spaghetti. So I hope you can see from the camera. So let's try. I like that. It's good. I mean, I know it's making you know, pasta sauce, tomato-based sauce, but you know, the shop makes it. Why cook down loads of tomatoes over, you know, so many hours to make the proper sauce? Buy a sauce jar. It's just as easy. And this is perfect. This is really nice. The chorizo adds a nice extra level to the flavouring. Spice. I know it's not traditional, but never mind. Enjoy.
If you like what you see today, please subscribe. Feel free to share and comment. I can be followed on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. See you there.